So, according to the weather reports, I am really hoping that we will get a game tomorrow. It looks likely that we will. It's the second turn for us to get an opportunity to preview the ODI. We did do a preview ahead of the series, and that's why I kept it kind of brief and I kind of general for for the whole series as a whole, for us to discuss a specific topic, because I knew there was a chance of there being rain or disruption in the first game. So we're now heading over to the second ODI, and this is obviously going to be a preview for the second ODI. And I'm excited to talk about this one because it's not just about this particular game. We'll be talking about which player should get an opportunity in the second ODI now that the first one is obviously was called off. And I'm also going to react to JP Dumini's press conference as well. His first ever press conference as the Proteas batting coach, live on the channel for the first time. I never looked at the quotes. I never looked at the video itself on the or the press conference video itself. So I'm going to be reacting to it raw and live for you guys on the show today. But before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things that I please would like you guys to do. Please download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. I'd also like you guys to please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. Also, don't forget to do a couple of more things for me. If you want to help us grow and promote South African cricket, please become a patron today. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. And go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to discussing this with you guys. Let's see what we can get out of this particular preview. Good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the South African cricket team. So, welcome to the show again, guys. I just cut out there quickly. And yeah, we're going to talk about everything that has to do with the second ODI between the West Indies and South Africa. Interesting one, guys. I'm looking forward to discussing this with you because there's quite a few things to get through with regards to this match. First and foremost, let's just have a look at the squad again. There has been Marco Jansen has been added to the squad, so there's an extra player, of course, that's been added to the squad. And the squad for you guys is right over here. Just I didn't add Marco to the new graphic, but he is part of the squad. It's Temba, Quinton, Tony, Riza, Ryan, Tristan Stubbs, Rassi van der Dussen, Bjorn Fortuin, Tabrei Shamsi, Sasanda Magala, Wayne Parnell, Antile Pechlegwayo, Lungin Gidi, Lazard Williams, and Gerald Kutsia. So interesting squad, and I'm hoping that some of the new guys will get an opportunity because that's obviously always the way you want to go. I think it's important to get the new guys a chance. And the question that I'm asking you guys is whether we should be giving uncapped players an opportunity to play in this particular match. That's the major question that I want to know. Looking at the squad again, if you putting together a batting lineup, there's 7 batters in this particular lineup right here already. So the question would be whether we're going to play an experienced lineup and then give all the top guys first a chance that have been regulars. So that's Temba, Quinton, Riza, and Rassi. And then fit in one of the other guys in there, either Ryan, Tristan, or Tony. So either way you go, someone is going to, and one of the uncapped players should be getting an opportunity. If you go with Temba, Quinton, Riza as your top 3, and then 4 with Rassi van der Dussen, then either Tony De Zorzi, Randy Kilton, or Tristan Stubbs will be 5 and 6. So the opportunity for you to to pick an uncapped player is greater with this particular squad that was selected. So the question of whether the uncapped players should have a chance or not, they probably will. Now we also have a lot of all-rounders in this team. We've got 4. I know that Marco is not on this list, but Sasanda Magala, Wemponal, and Dile Pechluquayo. So we've got all-rounders on this list, and I would kind of say Gerald Kutsia is also in that category too. So we've got a great talented group of players over here. We've got a great talented squad here, and I want to see some of those younger guys play. I hope that Tristan Stubbs gets an opportunity in that maybe 6 role, and then we could pick between Tony and Rickleton. I think Rickleton's currently ahead of Tony with regard to the one-day cup, one-day format. Ryan had a great one-day cup, and he's been quite good for the Lions, and he has experience playing domestic cricket in particular 50 over cricket for the Lions. So I think that's a good thing from that perspective. I think that will be great for the guys to be able to get an opportunity and show what they can do in this format, especially with us working towards winning this World Cup and potentially winning the 2027 World Cup as well. DT's in the comments, I see. I think it's a good idea to give them a go because, firstly, the series is the first in a while that wasn't for points. And secondly, we could find combinations that work well for the World Cup. There are a few guys whose spots are guaranteed, but I think the series would also be good for the guys whose spots aren't guaranteed. Yeah, and this particular ODI, the first and the second one, it's a much smaller squad. So it's kind of forces you, like I said, there's only 7 batters. So it's kind of forces you into picking 1 or 2 of the newer guys. So it's going to be interesting what's going to happen over here, what they're going to go with. I would like to see the lineup and see how they approach it. According to the weather reports, it seems quite clear throughout the day tomorrow. It's another 1 p.m. start. So I'm very interested to see that. But let's get some insight from JP Dumini, who's the now the batting coach of the white ball team. He spoke to the media today, and it would be nice for us to actually get an understanding of that and let me react to it for the first time because I haven't looked at it yet, and I haven't had a chance to even look at it yet. I wanted to keep it my reaction raw for this particular channel so that we can go through together as a group and watch it together. So let's see what JP had to say and let's react to this.
Also, the match not being played yesterday, you will of course have to wait for your debut as batting coach. How does it feel to be back in the squad and the system, but this time on the other side?
No matter what the opportunity, whenever you're putting on the green and gold, it's always a privilege. So I'm very excited to be back, and obviously a different capacity, but I think more importantly, it's about trying to make an influence, really, and be part of that significant process in imparting some wisdom and knowledge and just walking a journey with a lot of the players in the current team. So I'm certainly looking forward to it, yeah.
Thanks, Johan. Neil?
Hello, JP. Obviously very disruptive losing the first game, and there must be specific plans. I just wondered whether you could share with us some of what that top 6 or 7 might have looked like yesterday. Is the captain locked into open, and would Russell get mad at 3, and was Tony in set to make his debut?
Is that Manners?
Yes, it is.
Manners, how are you? Always asking the great questions. Thank you. So yes, I mean, the great thing about where we stand right now, it is that there is certainly a plan in place, and as you guys have seen, the net has certainly widened somewhat in terms of opportunities for guys to understand who do we want in the team going forward, and who puts up their hand for opportunities, right? So yes, there would have been 1 or 2 debuts yesterday. There's probably a likelihood it'll be very similar going into tomorrow. But I think the important thing is that we plan and make sure that we cover all our bases. So as you mentioned there, some of the names and positions, it will be pretty similar. But more importantly, can we find the right combinations going forward over the next couple of months leading into the World Cup?
So I'm just going to pause it here because Ongama just joined us, and I think we're going to do this together. Welcome to the show, brother. How are you doing? Can you hear me? Okay, I don't know if Ongama can hear me or not. Seems to be like a little bit of an issue. Um, you can just reconnect, Ongama. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I'll continue reacting so long.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Neil. Who would like to go next? Again, just a reminder to everyone to get in the chat and would like to ask a question. I see Khalid who is next.
JP, good afternoon. It's Brian out here, Buffalo Park. Hopefully, we can get a game tomorrow. You just talked about the plans that you guys are trying to put in place. Um, how much of those plans now have been narrowed by the loss of yesterday's game? The fact that there's still the bigger match of the two Netherlands games that are coming end of the month.
Look, I mean, I think the important thing, as I mentioned, is that there is a plan in place. From time to time, we're going to have to shuffle, and there might be a fork in the road from time to time to go a different direction. But I think if we can communicate well within the group and to you guys in terms of what that plan is, I think ultimately that's the important part, right? So how we execute it is also going to be important. But as I mentioned, the plan is important that it's in place. But yes, it has thrown a spanner in the works, particularly in that first game. So we're going to have to shuffle around going forward in the next few games, yeah.
Thanks, Khalid. Now, Ongama, the next one.
Hi, JP. I still remember 2019 World Cup. Faflukas used to describe you as the father figure of the team, and I think that's a character trait that we also see, that we also saw in that Paul Royal stint that you had in the SA20. I mean, just the tenderness of your personality. We saw it. The one that saw someone like Jason Roy from even during the SA20 during in blue with the second that scored. Just talk to us about how important it is as a leader in general, and also looking at this squad for this that you have with youngsters like Tori Kizosi, how important it is to have that character trait as a leader with this current squad.
I think when you think about any sort of leadership position, the ability to influence and guide and mentor players or anyone in general, I think it's an important trait to have. And as you've mentioned, you've labeled it as a father figure. I think for me, it's more about walking a journey with people on an individual basis. And I think the batting coach title probably emphasizes that a lot more. So can you build a relationship based on trust? I think that's the important part. And then there are attributes that go with that, like communication, etc. So for me, it's about the ability to earn the trust of every player every single day, no matter what we're doing. That is my goal, right? So I'm glad that you seeing that from the get-go, and that's certainly my ambition to help these players go through different stages of their career. As you mentioned, this is there are a few younger guys in the group currently, and they will want to stamp their authority on international cricket. So having gone through the experiences of that, the successes of that, but also the failures of that, I think that's the important part, and walking that journey is what I'm looking forward to.
So that's good to see. It was a good question by Ongama, actually, the way he spoke about it. I've been trying to get him on, but the network is not very stable on his side. So it has been a bit tricky. But we need someone that can be able to help these players transition from being youngsters in the team and then blending in with the rest of the senior players as well in the team. That is very good for transitional phases within cricket. I want to see what JP can do from a technical perspective, though. I know that he's a very good guy in the dressing room. He's a very good person to have for as a motivator. He does have that like father figure, friend type of relationship with certain players, then where they trust him and they are keen to open up to him. So those type of things are all very important. But I think this group of players also need that technical help. There are certain things that these players need. For example, the likes of Ryan Rickleton, perhaps Tony DeZorzi, Tristan Stubbs, that can just help them elevate their game to the next level. Take them from the players that they are right now into that next level of being able to obviously perform at a much better scale. Guys, I think there's something must be wrong with the YouTube at the moment because it's not showing that anybody's viewing the show. It seems like zero people are viewing the show, but there's been people in the live chat. So that's very, very weird. That's the case. Neil Govender comes in with a massive super chat once again. Thanks a lot, Neil. Hi, Khalid. I'm back, being busy with work. What's been happening in the cricket world? Okay, I'll read out your super chat later after we finish React, bro, and then I can answer your questions. Let's continue with JP Dumini.
Thanks, Ugama. We're going to take another couple from Neil and then Johan.
It's me again. I think this might overlap a little
Sure.
with the previous question, but when Rob first came into the Proteas setup, he worked with very inclusive head coaches in Gary and Mickey, and so his role was a lot wider than the one specifically defined for him.
Yep.
I know it's very early days in your relationship with Rob, but do you foresee that being similar? You won't just be batting; it'll be much more of an all-round assistant coach. You and probably possibly Rory and whoever else he has on his team.
Well, I think in my conversations with him, and I would assume very similar with the rest of the coaches, as much as we've got our specific areas to work on, there's certainly going to be overlaps in terms of that assistant role, particularly when you don't have a specified assistant coach. So I think the beauty of how Rob works is very collaborative, and he's always asking questions about various situations that we needing to make decisions on, and he doesn't see it as a sole purpose of himself. Yes, at the end of the day, he has to make the final decisions. But what I enjoy about Rob, and that's been the relationship that I've had with him for 10, 15 years already, it's always a collaborative view, asking great questions, having observations and imparting wisdom and knowledge of his experiences over the last 10 years in his coaching career. So I think it'll be very, very similar, and I think it's a great formula for inclusivity and where we want to go as a unit.
That is cool as well, that Rob is not his way or the highway. He does incorporate a team culture and environment and tries to get everybody's views when it comes to certain aspects of the game. So it's good to hear JP speak about that and that he has a relationship with him. So obviously Rob would have picked him. For reasons. I mean, he knows him for quite some time as well. I'm very interested to see what he'll do from a technical perspective with the batters that we have available, especially the new guys. Let's see how they develop under JP.
Thanks, Neil. Johan.
JP, I know it's a couple of days, of course. It's exactly 11 days. There's a challenge waiting for the Proteas in the name of Rulo van der Merwe. Do you have plans for Rulo?
Sorry, I didn't catch that question.
Just saying that you get to the end of the series, so it's obviously a new season, so
Yes.
some plans for specifically Rulo van der Merwe.
Well, there certainly would be. I mean, as you've heard in previous answers, there certainly has been a plan coming in to this series and how we want to set up our team. So there certainly would be a plan. I think the important thing to note is that's not the discussion just yet. And the focus is solely on this series and making sure we play well and come out with the desired outcomes that we're after. And then post the T20 series against the West Indies, we'll turn our focus to Netherlands. And as you mentioned there, Rulo van der Merwe, who's been phenomenal in the last few weeks, particularly in SA20. So he's certainly somebody that we're going to make sure that we do our planning and prepping against.
Great. We're going to
Interesting
take the
question.
two last questions, one from Percival, and then we'll wrap with Kaniso again.
Thank you so much, Trish. Good afternoon, gents. Jimmy, in the moment of the series and the appointment of all the new coaches, most of us as journalists, we've been talking about this new era. Can I ask specifically to focus on the tasks that you have to deal with? And I expect the fact that you can't look into the future. But we've been writing about the Proteas batting in the past, whether it's Test or ODIs. Do you see the Proteas batting improving and once again becoming a force to be reckoned with in world cricket as well?
Well, to answer that first part, do I see the batting unit improving? Well, I certainly hope so. I don't think I'll have a job if we don't. I think importantly to note is we have the skill set to do that. Right? We've got the makeup and the top 6, top 7. No matter who the lineup is, we have the makeup to do that. Now it's about trying to understand what's the game plan and identity that we're trying to form, and that's a continuous journey and discussion. And as you come up against various opposition, how are we going to do that? You're going to be playing on different conditions, and that the how with that becomes an important conversation. So if we can bring those conversations to the fore regularly and make good decisions. So something that I'm very big on is mindset and execution. And if we can make good decisions more often, that gives us a high percentage of execution, then I believe we're heading in the right direction. But at the end of the day, it's a collaborative effort in terms of aligning with the team game plan. And if we can execute that well, I think we're going to head in the right direction.
So Neil, I think he answered that question right now. Anyway, I don't understand what batting coach does. Shouldn't batsmen be ready with the techniques? Yes, they should be ready at their techniques. But because the jump between domestic cricket and international cricket is that big, there is sometimes a change that needs to happen with certain batters so that they are able to be able to handle the international level. JP has a lot of experience with that. Um, he's a guy that has been pulled around the order. He's batted in the top 3. He's batted down at the bottom 5, 6, 7. So he understands that transition very well. So I think that him being in the position is not only about helping these guys with their techniques, etc., but it's about helping them mentally to be able to improve their games, read the conditions, and then adapt their games according to those conditions, like he just mentioned now. So I think his aspect is going to come, his role is going to come in a lot with getting these guys' confidence up, making sure that these guys are ready for the transition and for the intensity of international cricket. Look here, JP played amongst with a very talented group of players as well. He was a talented youngster that came on the scene too. Yes, his career didn't maybe go as the way he might have planned. He wasn't as consistent as maybe he would have hoped. But there has been specific games where he's been phenomenal and won games for South Africa. And especially towards the end of his career, he started to really mature in his game and started to understand it. I felt that he maybe retired a little bit too early. I thought he could maybe give us a little bit more years. But he went into the coaching gig. He went for his coaching levels. He went on to coach a couple of good teams now as a batting consultant as well as a head coach of the Royals. So I'm hoping he brings that experience now. He's also been involved with the IPL teams as well and in the MS and now the SA20 as well. So I think he'll be able to help these guys settle in a lot faster than we hope. I don't know how much work will be on technique itself. I hope he says something like that in the presser.
Great, thanks, Percival. Kaniso to wrap us up today.
Thank you very much, Lucy. JP, talking of plans, is there a particular way that you want to see the coaches play the ODI cricket? In the developed form that everyone tried to copy with very degrees of success. But the second ODI block came with a template that pretty much isn't one size fits all, depending on what needs to be chased down, whether one is setting. So is there a particular brand of ODI cricket that you guys are looking to play in?
Well, the short version of that is yes. Now, when you break that down into various branches, I think that's where the nitty gritty of the conversations come to play. So I think importantly from the get go is positivity, right? I think that's the buzzword that everybody's talking about, the mindset that we're going in with. At the end of the day, it's about assessing the conditions and understanding what allows for us to achieve high percentage of execution. So when we're making good decisions, as I mentioned before, on the conditions that suit those decisions, I believe we can get the desired outcome. Can we score 400 in an ODI more regularly? Now, the conditions are going to needs to be favorable for the batters to be able to do that. So you mentioned England there, and there was very much a trial and error journey for them in understanding what is that blueprint and who fits into that blueprint. And I think very similarly, that's the journey going forward as we reset now, is understanding, right, how do we want to go about this? What does positivity look like in the conditions in East London? That tends to be slightly slower. So if it's not 400, what is that mark that we want to reach for that stretches us? And I think that's the important journey that we're going to explore now going forward, is understanding what does positivity look like. We'll certainly review after every game and see where are the areas that we can improve on. We're not just here to gather a win. We're here to be able to gather information that allows us to give us the best chance at a World Cup. I mean, that's ultimately why we're here. That's the elusive thing that has missed us for so many years, and I've certainly been a part of that. So having gone through those challenging experiences, hopefully in this capacity will allow for greater decision making that allows for our best chance going forward.
Great, thanks, Ikson.
Okay, so that's the presser. Interesting thing said in that particular presser. Um, what I want to say over here is that I think DT is right in the comments. 100% spot on. It is about perfecting their game and giving them a valuable experience and insight, because they don't necessarily have that within the group. There isn't a lot of international experience in this group. When it comes to Rassi, he's only been around for the last 5 years, 4 years or so. Temba Bavuma is maybe the most experienced, and Quentin de Kock. And then the rest of the guys, obviously with David Miller comes in, he's the most experienced, one of the most experienced guys. So with regards to this group, with this young group, there's not going to be as much international experience as there was before. That's why I say transitional phases are so important. The guys that are going to come in right now are going to learn from these guys. And then when the next generation comes in, they will learn from the rest. And it continues like that in a cycle. And that's what I think should be happening. Let me read out your super chat, Neil Governor. Thanks a lot for another great super chat. What's been happening? I'm really humbled by this, bro. Thank you very much for always getting involved. What's been happening in the cricket world? What do you think about the two best teams, pound for pound, making WTC final? Good for cricket. On SA note, why JP, who was average with the bat? I think I've answered that already. With regards to the final, where is it now? Just trying to find it. Cool. You talking about the WTC World Test Championship final? Sorry, I'm completely losing my mind here. I was looking at the something. I was looking at the women's IPL final. Sorry, the WTC final, fantastic. I mean, we will probably discuss it on the show on the channel. I won't do a full-on show on it, but because South Africa's not in it, but I will discuss it. We will have a conversation. We'll have a segment on the show where we discuss it. It won't be the headline or anything, but we will discuss it on one of the shows. So don't worry about it. I will have a look at that and try to watch it as well, and then we can give a nice in-depth analysis on it with you guys as well. Proteas should start baseball in tests going forward. I think it will be a I think it will be a altercation of it. It won't be it will be a difference of it. It won't be like exactly the same as baseball. I think we'll have I'm trying to look for the word for it. I can't find the word right now. But we will be playing our own brand of cricket, and I think it will be with a positive mindset. Shukri Conrad is a positive type of coach. So I hope that that will be the case and that will happen. So let's see what happens with regards to the way we go forward. I mean, with Aiden Markram coming to the team, playing the way he plays, he kind of sets the tone for the rest of the team as well. I'm hoping that Ryan Rickleton also will be able to come into his own, as well as maybe someone like Heinrich Clausen coming into his own. Neil said he had the most phenomenal start in cricket without looking at up 60 not out at Perth, and then 166 at Melbourne to win, then bust. One of the most disappointing careers will make him a great coach. A lot of the time, people say that, players that don't necessarily have the greatest careers become better coaches down the line. Sorry, bro, what happened? You're not looking good today. All fine. I'm just tired, bro, and I'm wearing a thick hoodie and stuff that I'm not really dressed up for the show because obviously it's a bit cold and it's raining in Cape Town. So yeah, I was getting a little bit cold in this room. So sorry that I'm not looking at my best from your opinion. But it should be a positive in Test cricket, not go for baseball. Positivity will be a right word, Khalid. It's 100% positivity. Thinking of that, no great cricketer have made a great cricket coach. Can anyone think of one? Well, people are saying Baz is doing it. Um, some people would say that Gary Kirsten did it with India. Those are two that it's coming to the top of my head. Maybe not for South Africa, no. We've not necessarily had player coaches that have taken us to successful runs in tournaments. Domestically great, but not for South Africa. And yeah, maybe a couple of you. Justin Langer did a great job at some point. Lawrence saying Stephen Fleming. Internationally, I'm not so sure. He did great with obviously Chennai. Excited for Aiden's captaincy, but he won't be captain in the ODIs. He'll be captain in the T20s. Will the match happen tomorrow? I do think so. According to the weather reports, it does seem to be good weather in East London. Let me just double check it because how weather changes in South Africa. Every second bloody day it changes. You never actually know what's going to happen with regards to the weather. So according to the weather report over here, it does say that it's going to be 21 degrees, 25 at the high, 24, 22, sunny, a little bit cloudy throughout the day. So I do think that we will be fine with regards to that, right up until the night. So I think we'll be fine. That means that if there's going to be some cloudy weather, like JP said in his presser, he said it's going to be a little bit slower. So I think it is going to swing around. It's going to swing around a bit. And I think that's going to cause a little bit of issues for some of our newer guys. But I think our bowlers must be able to handle that. I think Lungi Ngiri is brilliant in these conditions. And I think that the pitch might also suit someone like Sisanda Magala that bowls a heavy ball. So let's see what happens with regards to that as well. Looking at the squad again, I think the hardest part about this will be who we're going to pick as with regards to the bowlers. We've got Bjorn Verteen here to play Shamsi with a spinning option. We need to look at that conditions and decide whether we're going to play a spinner or two. East London can be quite different when the weather dictates it. So we'll have to wait and see. Out of the box question: do you think cricket will ever have overhead roofs like Wimbledon? It's an interesting talking point. I don't think so because I think that the weather comes to the whole point of cricket is that the weather comes to playing with regards to it. The overhead conditions, the clouds, and all of that. I wouldn't want it necessarily because I like the fact that weather can play its part in it. I like the fact that weather has such a massive effect in cricket. So I wouldn't want to see it necessarily because I like the open stadiums. I like the way the weather affects the game, affects the swing, affects the pitch, etc., the sun, etc., and all of that. So yeah, I wouldn't really want to see that. How did you think Aiden should play at number three in T20s and maybe maybe ODI two, as his technique is good and he is the best batter as well. Um, right now, seeing that, I mean, Timba's gone, so it would be an interesting thing to see that. I wouldn't mind that actually. I would like him to take responsibility as a captain because he is our best batter, I feel, currently in the T20 format, other than David Miller. So it would be nice to see him do that or open the batting for me. But I also liked where he was batting in the World Cup. Now I know there was other reasons involved with Timba being in the team, Riza being in the team. It forced them to shift Aiden down the order. But I can see him batting at number three in T20 cricket. I definitely can see that. Nails reminded me that we should give our boys credit where credit is due. We've secured third in the WTC, even though we threw second away. With all the problems we've had, it should be a confidence booster. It should be a confidence booster. And congratulations to the boys for finishing third. It's a massive improvement from um yeah, it's a massive improvement, I would say. So interesting to see how we're going to take it forward for the next test cycle, which players are going to still be a part of that. Official TV says, I don't want Parnell to play. Currently, Parnell is contracted, and currently, Parnell is probably our best all rounder currently in the squad. I mean, Marco Janssen is brilliant too. And I think Marco and Wayne, um, it's an interesting one because if Wayne just plays his natural game and goes out to bat, and he has a little bit longer at the crease, he bats better than I think when he's under pressure needed to slog. Whereas Marco has been put under pressure and he's been able to smack the ball out the ground and actually be impactful in that way. Um, so it's interesting how they're going to pick their best all rounders with regards to that because the only one I can see at number 7 is Wayne now. I would prefer Marco Janssen at 8, in my opinion. Even though I do think that down the line he can become a 7 for South Africa. He's good enough with the bat to be able to get there. Um, So let's hope and see. Hardy will Markham play in the third area? I think he will. I don't understand why they would add these other guys into the squad if they are not going to play. So David Miller, Aiden Markram are being added to the squad for the third ODI. So I would want to see them play, especially with the Netherlands coming up. It would be nice for them to get some ODIs under their belt. I think that Rob is someone that wants to try and see everybody and what they can do. Riza will most probably open the batting in the T20s with Temba. Not there anymore. I'm glad Rob is persisting, with Riza, as he did nothing wrong to have been benched and really good international white ball form. 100% Lawrence. The Cock, Rousseau, Markham, Klassen. Okay, this is for T20s. We're talking about the ODIs, guys. Come on. I prefer Pechlekwayo over Panel. Interesting one. When it comes to batting, though, at the moment, Pechlekwayo, he has improved domestically, but I hope that he can show that caliber with a bat in international cricket. I worry about Marco. I think his batting long term is going to affect his bowling where I think the real value will lie. I don't think so because I mean he's been an all rounder his whole career since a kid, so I haven't seen it affect him before, and I doubt it will now. Why don't batting coach try to work on improving technique of player? Our batters have really poor technique. That's his job ultimately to try and help them transition from domestic cricket into international cricket. That is the main aim. Um, Khalid, how do you think CSA can build and develop pure all rounders? Because it doesn't seem that we have a full plan. Yeah, we kind of just hope that the all rounder will pop up somewhere, but there are quite a few in our domestic system that I think haven't given an opportunity yet. There are a couple of youngsters too that are coming through the system, like Matthew Boast. We've got what is his name now? We've got Eddie Jones as well. We've got Jason Smith. We've got Rwanda Swart. There's Ethan Bosch, Corbin Bosch, Mapungwana as well, Machlali Mapungwana from Western Province. There are a couple of all-rounders coming through the system. I would even throw someone like Vian Mulder into the mix as an all-rounder. George Linder's there as an all-rounder. So there are quite a few all-rounders that are in our system that we just need an opportunity to see them to get a chance. I would play players who will play against the Dutch so that they can win the game. Now we have to look at the squad again and see how many of these players will actually are definites in against the Netherlands. Temba, Quinton, yes. Riza, yes, I think. Rasi Federation, I think as well. It's between Tristan, Ryan, and Tony. Now, out of those three, by what they play tomorrow, we'll probably get an inkling of who Rob thinks is the he wants to trust first. I think Sander Wayne, definitely. I think Andile needs to work his way back into this team again and gain the trust of Rob and of the fans. Lungingiri, definitely. I think Gerald Kutsia and Lazard Williams are going to be trying to impress Rob. And then you've got your spinners with Bjorn and Debray Shamsi. Now, looking at it, I don't think Debray was on the first one on the list. It was Keshav and Bjorn that they wanted to go with. So, but that this gives me an inkling that Bjorn is in their plans 100% for that ODIs. So, yeah, for this regard to this one, oh yes, and Marco Janssen as well, which I didn't add to this because it only came after the announcement after I did the graphic. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see tomorrow, and that will give us an indication. Marco Janssen is going to be a superstar one day. Are we playing all four our debutants tomorrow? What are the rumors? There are currently no rumors. Um, there are currently no rumors. There's been a question about Tony DeZorzi, and JP was kind of candid about his answer. So we'll have to wait and see. I think that the team has also got a lot to do with the actual um, the team has also got a lot to do with the actual conditions. So we'll have to wait and see. I never got any inside scoops or anything with regards to it because of the first game was cancelled. If that first game um, started, we would obviously, if there was going to be a game, then we'll see. Khalid, firstly, please update about the weather tomorrow. Can we expect a game tomorrow? I did update on the weather at the beginning of the show. It looks like it's going to be a high of 25, but it's going to bounce between 21, 22, 23 degrees, and there's going to be a little bit of cloud cover according to the weather reports. So it does seem that there's going to be a game. It doesn't look like it's going to be any interruption with regards to rain. Keenan saying in JP we trust. I think we have outlined the problem. The gap between first-class cricket and Test cricket in SA is too large. Superstars doesn't have cover FC cricket anymore. Supersport doesn't even cover first-class cricket anymore. They'd rather show any World Super League. Yeah, that's where the money lies because of the viewership in India. That's the reason. Is Mitchell van Buren going to be a good player? In my opinion, I think he is. I like the mentality of the youngster. I like his attitude and I like the way he plays the game. Tony got in the squad having one good season. There are players who should be in the squad instead of him. Yeah, I would like to know who, bro. Mention some of them, please. I would like to know your opinion. I agree with you that there are some players that should be, and I don't agree with you that Tony's only had one good season. Tony's been really great for the Knights, for the Titans as well with regards to the white ball formats. Maybe not in first class cricket consistently. He did have a good season at the Titans too, but he's been decent for the Titans before he went to Western Province. His Western Province just elevated his career. He's now doing way better than he did before. He understands his game better. Not too familiar with Lazard Williams' game, but personally, from what I've seen, I think he might need some time to polish his game. What's your take on him? I love Lazard Williams. He's fire, his consistency. He runs in with maximum effort every single delivery. He bounces back from difficulty very well. Every single time in his career, he's been faced with adversity and he's managed to jump that hurdle. So I'm a big fan of Lazard Williams, particularly with the fire that he plays the game at, the intensity that he plays the game at. He might be able to add a little bit more variations to his game. He bowls fast, he bowls hard and fast, and I would like to see maybe a little bit more variations with regards to Yorkers being added to his game. I think that will be a lethal thing for him more consistently. And yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Lazard Williams and particularly for his attitude and the way he approaches the game. East London doesn't have proper drainage system, so why organize at such a ground? because I don't think they predicted there to be rain when they made these fixtures. I mean, generally speaking, this time of the year, East London isn't necessarily a very rainy city. So it's normally sunny. It's the surface nation. It's a surface province where all the surfers like to surf, etc. So I don't think they predicted that to happen. It's not Durban, for example. So where you expect rain every single time. Khalid, why are they not looking at players like Donovan Ferreira? Because I feel that Donovan needs to get a lot more consistency in his game, but also because we've got David Miller and Tristan Stubbs has been fantastic in the One Day Cup, etc. And they have a long-term investment in him. I think Donovan will be in the mix soon. I'm hoping that he will be, but they have their eyes on other players at the moment. Um, do you think that Nandre Berger is on the right track to the Proteas or not? See, Nandre is a tricky one. I think he was, but then he kept on picking up injuries. So we can't get consistency from Nandre Berger. Even now, he could only bowl 4 overs. He couldn't bowl in first class cricket because of his injury after the SA20. So he needs to get fit, and he needs to make sure that he doesn't get injured so regularly so that he can be on the radar. Because when he's fully fit, the guy is fantastic. And I think then he would be on the radar of the Proteas. In my opinion, it's a toss up between Rickleton and Tony Dezorzi for spot tomorrow. Personally, I agree with you. I'll go with Ryan. I agree with you. Leading run score in the One Day Cup. I agree with you. 100% I agree with you on that one. I think Ryan Rickleton should be slightly ahead, but it depends on where they see Ryan bat in the order. That will determine it. Because if Ryan's batting lower down, I think they're looking at Tony at the number 3 or number 4 slot for South Africa. I don't think they're going to think of him at the number 5. But then currently you've got the experience of Riza Hendricks, and Riza should bat 3 in my opinion, with Temba and Quinny opening. So in that way, you're going to have to put Rassi at 4, and then 5, you're going to have to play one of the youngsters. And at the moment, I think that Ryan should be ahead of Tony with regards to that position in the squad. He's also a little bit more attacking minded than someone like Tony Dezorzi. We have too many openers in the squad like Tony Riza, Quinton de Kock, Temba, Ryan, so it makes it difficult to balance. I think Ryan's game can be adapted in ODI cricket a little bit more. I think he can bat a little lower down in this ODI side. I don't think he necessarily has to bat as an opener in the side. But let's see what they do. Let's see which player they pick. Uh, what happened to the whole fitness debacle with Magala? He's performing well and hasn't been a liability, so I think he's okay. No, yes, he's obviously passed the fitness test. If Magala didn't pass the fitness test, the same thing would have happened with him that happened to Dana Venikek. He would have been out of the squad. They're very strict with regards to the fitness and fitness levels and passing that particular fitness test. They all are 100. Enoch has been very strict with it, and the coaches have been very strict with it. So I don't think he would be in the squad if he didn't pass his fitness test. So yeah, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos. It's very important that you do so. I'm putting it on the screen a couple of times so that you guys must press druk daai rooi knoppie asseblief. Druk daai rooi knoppie. And make sure that you subscribe, smash the like button, comment, and share. Also, please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. We're busy working on our next issue, which is on the new era. So please keep an eye out for that, and you'll get an email directly to your inbox. Also, help us promote and grow South African cricket as well as the company by becoming a patron today. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. And then go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates. Let's just see a couple of more comments before I say bye. Ryan is more ODI batter than Tony. Oh, I've read that already. Only Markram can bat lower, even being an opener, because he has all games from defense to hitting. It's true. Sometimes in the future, Rickleton, Herman, Brewer, Stubbs, Ferreira. Do you think all? I think all of them will play together one day. I honestly do. The way they are growing, they're almost growing at the same level. They're all actually at a similar stage in their career, other than Rickleton. But Brewer, Stubbs, and Ferreira and Herman are kind of all in the similar type of bracket with regards to that. Yes, they will play under Markram's captaincy. Cross fingers. I want Markram to be captain of all formats. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. And I'll see you guys again on Sunday for a review show. Look here, because the game finishes so late, I think it's an injustice for me to not to do a review show when half of you guys can't really watch it. So because it's that late on a Saturday evening. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wake up earlier on Sunday to prepare a show for you that we can do at 10 o'clock. So please be awake at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. We'll do our review show at 10 o'clock South African Standard Time for the game previously. And then obviously the Monday we'll do a preview for the game on Tuesday. So please just note those times, put it in your diary. Make sure that you click the notification so you get the notification. We'll be doing a review show on Sunday at 10 a.m. So, guys, thanks a lot for watching. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. And let's hope that South Africa can win that match tomorrow at 1 p.m. South African Standard Time in East London. Stay safe. Peace out.